Warning, the following podcast contains irreverent humor, exceptionally nerdy opinions, potential cursing, and plenty of love for the prequels. If any of the preceding offends you, please turn off this podcast immediately, and may the Force be with you.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking Nerfherder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
It's time for the Jedi to end.
You're tuned in to the Nerfherder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate, featuring your hosts, JT. I mean, they killed his mother. What's he supposed to do? Send him a postcard? I wish you wouldn't have done that. AJ.
Well, if you don't remember something you already saw, that does not count as a spoiler. That counts as you not paying attention.
Steve.
Sir, you have a parasol on your face. Please do not tell me what I should and should not like, sir. Thank you.
It really was. On this episode of the Nerfherder Council,
This is the John Drake Han Solo Millennium Falcon episode. Take one.
This is the Nerfherder Council.
what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Nerfherder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are my intrepid co-hosts, as usual, AJ and Steve. And we're back to a normal format this time. We're not watching a movie for 2 hours and however many, 15, 20 minutes. So
Speak for yourself, man. I got Transformers 5 on bootleg over here.
I heard that wasn't that good.
I think I still overpaid for it.
I heard it's just basically like nothing but action set pieces.
Okay, to clarify, I actually don't have it up over here. I was just making a joke because that thing's got like 12% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Yeah.
That movie's like the Fast and Furious of fighting robot movies.
It really is. Like I was looking at that today. I'm like, that is exactly what it is. There's 5 of them now. So and they set up a 6th, even though Michael Bay once again said he wasn't doing another one. So we'll see. And yeah, the 4th one was garbage, even by Transformers franchise standards. And this one apparently is about half as good as that one. So
yeah, I've seen the first 3, and the 4th one I was like, okay.
Dude, the 3rd one's the best one.
That's the one with Leonard Nimoy as the voice of Jetfire, right?
No. Come on, Sentinel Prime.
Okay, sorry, couldn't remember. Yeah, that was good. I liked the first 3. I mean, the second one was just impossible to tell what was going on, but it was still fun. But after the first 3, I'm like, okay. And then I heard the 4th one wasn't good, and I was like, nah, I'm not into it enough to go see it. And this one just, with all it's in the past and, all this, the nights, I'm like, oh, okay, enough. Stop. Just stop. Like, jump the shark.
Yeah, people keep paying to go see the damn things. They're going to keep shoving them out, man.
Right.
I was almost the first one to cuss that early into the show.
At this point, my only reason for watching it is to see if it's as bad or worse as Star Trek Beyond, because that is my low point right now for old franchises with new installments.
Oh, is that bad? I heard it was good.
Oh, God. I don't even know what was going on in that movie.
Are you serious? Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Speaking of plotless action pieces.
Steph and I really want to see that, and we didn't see it when it was in the theaters. We were like, we're the poster children for, oh, this movie, we got to see it, and we never do.
Yeah.
Well, after, Into Darkness came out, we didn't realize how prescient that title was. So
honestly,
I heard that movie was good.
I didn't even know they made another one. I thought Into Darkness was the newest one.
Yeah, no.
So it shows what the hell I know or what I care about, for that matter.
The previews look cool. I thought that was actually interesting looking.
And in my own defense, I only knew about the Fast and Furious thing because it was shoved down our throats every 25 seconds on TV and YouTube advertisements and stuff. I'm like, wow, there's like a 43rd Fast and Furious movie coming out. This is great.
I just remember the first 3 or 4 Fast and Furious movies because wait, no, I don't, because I never gave a shit about any one of those crappy movies. Who cares?
Show of hands at this table. Who's ever seen one?
Oh,
of course, Steve has.
They're car movies. Of course, I saw like 3 or 4 of them. But dude, that's they're on like number. Honestly, legitimate, I think they're up to number 8 now. And
Yeah.
so that means I have not seen 4 of them, nor do I care to. So
They should just call all those movies Douchebags 1, Douchebags 2, Douchebags 3, Douchebags in Japan, Douchebags Racing Submarines, Douchebags with Muscles. Who cares? Just stop.
The Rock and some douchebags.
Yeah. I have no interest in that
all
whatsoever.
I know about
It's
is that they don't even, the first like 2 were about the cars and racing and stuff, and now they're just doing what the hell ever, and
Yeah.
it makes no sense. And Paul Walker crashes a car into a tree, and no, that was real life.
Yeah.
My bad.
Hey, let's imitate art. What can I
cold.
say?
That was probably cold of us, but I didn't say it. So
Hey, if I can make fun of David Prowse's cockeye,
Oh my God.
I can make fun of that guy crashing into a tree.
I know we are not even on our topic yet, so I'm going to take us off again.
Hey, you can't go off the rails if you haven't gotten on them yet. So
Driving over here tonight, I was, as I'm driving over, I always try to like think of whatever we're going to be talking about, try to assemble some thoughts ahead of time.
yeah,
'Cause
minimal show prep, nothing wrong with that.
Right. It takes a little while. At least 15 minutes of prep before we get here, right? So I'm driving down 130th, and there is a sign, I swear to God, that talks about recognizing the signs of a stroke, and it's done with like little like emoticon kind of symbols, like
oh god,
slanted face. It had like the emoji with the slanted mouth, and I was just
Are
like,
you
oh my God, I
serious?
want that to be a Vader helmet so bad. And of course, the second one was slurred speech.
You're part of a rebel alliance and a traitor.
that's still
See, I'm good at audio editing. If I was good at video, I would totally just do the end of Rogue One and just put little emoji faces over Vader's head for the whole scene.
it was so wrong of us to do that, but I can't help but listen back to that 10 minutes and just laugh uncontrollably. It's still just
Hey,
as funny to me now as it was when we were doing it.
Sometimes you got to get the poison out, man. It happens.
Oh, that was
okay?
funny. That was hilarious.
Oh, okay, so we had a topic tonight, and it wasn't David Prowse.
Yes, no,
But it could be.
yes. So, but before we get to the topic, which is we're discussing the Han Solo movie, but not the normal. Here's the news. Like we'll recap the news, but I actually have some opinions on it. Off air, we were discussing what we would do, or more rather, what I would do if I was the director of the movie, and basically, it would entail about a week's worth of me hanging out in the Millennium Falcon before filming started, just partying.
Just having cases of Rumplemans delivered to the set.
Yeah. I would just be chilling in that. I'd be like, when does filming start? July 10th. Okay. I'd show up on the 1st and just walk up in the Falcon, be like, all right, where's the nearest pizza delivery? Crack my knuckles a little bit, sit back and just party in the Falcon, just walk around.
Before any of the actor trailers are there, it's a truck backing up, beep, 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 and it's just full of Rumplemans and pizza.
Miller Lite and pizza. I'm just in there every day dancing around with like a bottle of
The first 3 weeks of quote unquote filming is the Falcon, the Rumplemans, the beer, the pizza, and the director, and nobody else is there yet.
No, I would just have a week to myself, just taking selfies to put on Facebook, just walking around all hammered going, woo, I'm Han Solo, I'm in the Millennium Falcon, pew, pew, 12 parsecs, mother, woo, yeah, sorry about the mess, woo. I'd take a week to get it out of my system and be like, everyone would show up and be like, all right, guys, we got a film to make. We're going to make a good movie here. We're on Lucasfilm time. We're going to do this. We're going to make a great Star Wars movie. Having no idea that the week before was just me fanboying on the most lurid level imaginable. So
Until the key grip trips on an empty bottle.
Why does the cockpit of the Falcon smell like pee and shame?
I'm sticking to the seat again. No. That's Rumplemans, dude. It's not what you think it is.
Every time I get off the seat, it sounds like Velcro ripping. The hell is this?
I wouldn't be able to help it. Like if I got that job, I'd be like, I need a few hours. I just need to party on the Millennium Falcon.
You don't even need to be the director. You could be a key grip, and that would probably happen.
I would try and get that job just to do that and just run around the Falcon like after hours, like, all right, we're done. Everyone goes off the Falcon, and I'm trailing behind.
You're just coiling cords up on your arm, walking where you're not even supposed to be towards the Falcon. No, I've got this.
Right? Everyone leaves, and I turn around and like, nope, run up the gangplank. Like, oh, here we go. I'm in the Falcon.
You're trying to close it. The smoke is going off.
I open up the smuggling bay, and there's like my cooler in there and everything. I had pre-hit it.
Dude, that's got to be one of the easiest jobs to give the Falcon that like lived in look. Like, well, just, build it and then give it 3 weeks of people doing whatever they want.
Right?
Turn it over to John for a week after you built it. It'll look lived in.
Dude, I've always said that if I hit like one of those awesomely huge Mega Millions, like, 150 million, I would build Docking Bay 94 in my backyard. There would be this huge,
epic.
I'd have this normal house, like $150,000, $200,000, something like that, little size, but nothing major. And in my back, I'd have all sorts of land in the back. There'd be this huge building. People are like, what the hell is that? I'm like, you stay away from there. But you open the door, and it's the Falcon in episode 4 in Docking Bay 94. You walk on, it's like an actual Millennium Falcon. It'd be great. And then you go in, and the cockpit would be a private screening area that you can only watch Star Wars in. It only holds 4 people. And it's the most state-of-the-art stuff you could ever own. And you're watching Star Wars. The only thing you're allowed to watch in there is Star Wars. Mm-hmm. But you're watching Star Wars from the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
You wouldn't even be annoyed having to look through the slats of the cockpit at the screen, would you?
I probably wouldn't.
No.
If you're not watching Star Wars, there's one button that makes it jump into hyperspace.
Yep. Have the sound effects go off and everything. Like, ooh, check this out.
It'll be the end of our podcast. Where's John at? He's late. He's still in the Falcon.
I would Skype in from the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, that'd be great. That's when we go to a video format.
Yes. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Nerfherder Council. I'm your host.
Hold on, cut. John's not wearing pants.
Yeah.
Again.
Right? Seriously, the intro would go, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Nerfherder Council. I am your host, JT, broadcasting live from the friggin' Millennium Falcon. You've been doing that for 3 years, dude. It's not impressive anymore. Yes, it is. It's always impressive.
All our interviews are done from the hollow chessboard.
What did you say you wanted to do? You wanted to make the
I just want to mount a big screen in there and play Battlefront.
You said you wanted to like spread out some Cheetos and Doritos on the hollow chessboard.
Oh yeah,
and just kick back and everything. Put your feet up.
Oh, how great would that be? Have like a 3-dimensional chessboard where it's all like little cutouts, and you can have like different snacks and dips and stuff. It'd be like that snack food stadium that people make for Super Bowls.
Maybe we should like Kickstarter this.
Be great.
After like 3 weeks of nothing but living on the Falcon, we wouldn't know if he's Han or Chewie anymore on that damn
thing. Right.
Hey, how'd Porkins get aboard?
Yeah. You don't belong here.
Pokes his head out looking like Robin Williams from Jumanji. What year is it?
I'm serious. We should start a Kickstarter for this. What if we raised like $100 million and then we could actually build this?
I'd be down. Let's do it. I've been wanting to get us on Patreon anyway. Can I start a Patreon campaign for the show?
No, only for my Docking Bay 94 dream. Screw the show. I'm talking about living on the Millennium Falcon, for Christ's sakes. The hell are you worried about the show for?
Well, for a donation of, let's say, $100,000, we can send them a photograph of you on the Millennium Falcon.
I'll let them hang out with me there.
Oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't going to go that far.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even like our audience that much.
Some of them could have a sticker.
Well, some of them are family members, so I know these people.
Well, for a donation of $250, starting at $250, you get a sticker.
You get a sticker. We'll at you on Twitter.
We just give away the only stuff we have. Like for $1,000, you get a sticker and a size small Nerfherder Council T-shirt.
And the 30 Lepin pieces that didn't go to the Falcon.
This would be
official show used merchandise.
Everyone's like, this is the worst Kickstarter ever. Meanwhile, we're sitting in the Falcon going, no, it's not.
It's unfair to the payor, but not to the payee.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So
something about a topic, right?
Yeah, something about a topic.
There's some type of Star Wars news that happened, right?
So
they're still making movies, right?
A little bit.
Yep.
A little bit.
So we're going to talk Last Jedi?
No, actually, we're not.
Oh.
We're going to talk about the single greatest character in film history. That being Han Solo, of course.
What?
So I'm I'm sure everybody's heard by now the news that the production of the Han Solo standalone film had a little bit of turmoil this week.
A kerfluffle.
Yeah, a kerfluffle, as it were.
A slight snag.
A cluster F, as it were. But the original directors, it's Chris Miller and Phil Lord. Those are their names, right, AJ?
Yes.
I don't want to mess up the first names. I know it's Miller and Lord, but they actually stepped down / were removed from directing the Han Solo movie, and it was only it was less than a month before it was supposed to finish filming, wasn't it?
Yep.
So that's really been in the news, and I think everybody pretty much is up to speed with the news that happened, and they've been replaced with Ron Howard, which is a good choice of director, I should say. I was about to say directorial, but that's not really proper. But he's a great choice of director. I personally love Apollo 13. I like all three of the Dan Brown novels that he made into films: Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and Inferno. So for me, it's cool. But rather than go into, he got fired, I think there's some stuff out there that, some of the...
He also did Willow.
Did he?
I believe so.
I know he did Cocoon.
Hold on, I'm going to IMDb. We'll settle this.
Did he? Are you sure he did Willow? Or?
I think he did Willow.
Stall, I'm looking something up.
Steve already has it up on the screen.
Did. Yep.
Steve
Director Ron Howard.
There it is.
Writers George Lucas.
All right.
So, sweet.
Well, he's got a lot of Lucasfilm ties, so I mean, I guess that would make sense. He was in American Graffiti, and then, So, anyways, back on topic here. So, Chris Miller and Phil Lord were removed. Ron Howard was put in there, and everybody knows that. But there was an article this week that I think some of the less diehard fans might not know about, giving a little bit of detail into why that change happened. And, because whenever you see something like that, you're kind of like, well, why are they changing directors? And if you know anything about the production, if you follow it, you're like, well, it was almost done. I mean, it's pretty close. They're less than a year from the release of the movie. So that's pretty extreme. Mm-hmm. And was it Variety, AJ, that has this article?
Well, and there's a few outlets that have a lot of coverage on it. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stuff coming out now after the fact. I mean, originally it was just when the news broke, it's just like, hey, we might get Ron Howard and these guys are out. And that was all that was said. But since then, sources familiar with the situation, who, of course, remain anonymous, are now coming out and saying, more of what was going on the set the whole time and how this had been brewing for a long time, actually.
Yeah. And I have to admit, reading the details in this, I'm kind of glad that they made this change, because one of the things that I saw in a few different articles, there was a very direct comment by one person, but it was kind of alluded to by other people. But one person directly said, Han Solo is not a comedic character. He's selfish and cynical.
Yeah, I actually read something earlier in the week that they said that they felt like the directors were almost steering Han Solo in an Ace Ventura.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Of spin, and you picture that, and it's insane. So if that was the angle they were going with, then
how do you do that? I read that, and I'm thinking to myself, these guys are known for making really good movies so far, like the Lego Movie and 21 and 22 Jump Street and stuff, which were really good.
All right.
But how do you come into Han Solo and go, well, I'm going to mess with that? That to me, I mean, there's having balls, and then there's making a giant creative mistake.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, because I think there's a lot of finger pointing going on, and I'd be curious to know how much of it is correct.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, if you're going to bring in directors that have, a certain pedigree, this is their resume, this is the type of movie they do, and this is their style, you bring them in and then they do their style, and you're like, well, that's not what we want.
Yeah.
Who's to blame? I mean, is that really their fault for messing with Star Wars, or is it Star Wars' fault for bringing in people and saying, hey, do your thing? Oh, wait, no, we don't want that thing.
Well, I think they wanted that certain flavor, but I think they bring people in with the understanding that these people know what source material they're working with. And so to bring somebody into a Han Solo movie, you have to make it Han Solo. you can't just go, you know what? I'm going to make him real hilarious and have like poop jokes and stuff like Ace Ventura. You know, I mean, they didn't do that, but you know what I mean? Like you would assume that they're going to stay true to Han Solo, but add, you know, some extra flavor to it. But it sounds like that's not what they did. They kind of were like, we make this kind of movie and we're just going to do that with Star Wars. Like, well, that doesn't really work. I mean, seriously, if they would have kept going and it was that kind of, could you imagine walking into a Han Solo movie and having it be kind of like campy and humorous? Could you imagine how bad people would have crapped all over that?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that Star Wars has funny moments, but it's not like jokes were written. It's not like they're getting up on stage and, you know, hey, did you hear the one about my wife? And, you know,
take my wife, please.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, situational comedy. I think that's what they call it.
It's almost like I brought it up a couple of weeks ago about how dangerous it actually is to try to make the Han Solo spinoff. And this is exactly it. You know, just luckily it didn't hit theaters and fans' eyes. You know, they caught it early.
Yeah,
because this is the exact thing we talked about. Like you said, you know, if this is what you saw, if you saw Ace Ventura and Dan Marino hanging out the side of the car, you know, right, trying to save a dolphin when it's supposed to be Han Solo, you would have been absolutely pissed.
Yeah, and
not only that, it might have actually changed your view of the character from what you know already, because now this is not that it's canon, it's just that you've seen it, it's in your head now the story's complete and you go, wow, like now you see episode 4 and episode 7 and all that and you're like, wow, this guy's really kind of a piece of crap because of the stupid prequel that these guys turned into slapstick instead of a Star Wars movie.
And that's kind of something I wanted to hit on tonight too, was the danger of doing these, you know, backstories and these standalone films and whether or not we truly need them. But yeah, I completely agree with you because, you know, people say that the whole, you know, having Greedo shoot first or whatever with the special editions and the Blu-ray and stuff changes the character of Han Solo. And I've been very vocal about my opinion that it does not. But you know, Steve, your point is incredibly valid that imagine seeing him as like a Buster Keaton, like a slapstick, which, and again, it's an extreme example, but if you turn him into a comedic character, that's going to change people's opinions. I mean, you're going to go, what the hell is this?
There's a fine line to walk between the two. I mean, let's face it, like him charging down the hallway in episode 4 after the stormtroopers, you know, on a death charge. And then like he runs into the whole fleet of stormtroopers and, you know, turns around and runs the other way. That's silly. That's just silly. I mean, it's there strictly for comedic value. But it works because it struck the right chord in that moment. But if you're trying to like deliberately go out there and base a plot device around that, and this is the problem with doing it based on a character instead of an event in the first place. Like Rogue One works because they were like, this is about the Death Star plans. If they had said, this is about Jyn Erso. Well, no, I don't care about Jyn Erso. I care about how the Death Star plans. They've never said what the Han Solo movie is actually about other than it's about Han Solo.
Yeah.
So when that's like the premise that you're given and you're like, okay, go make a movie now. Like, well, now I'm going to make everything center around what moments this character can have instead of what events need to take place and how can the character react to them.
Yeah. Well, let me recap that article real fast because we're already into our topic, but I at least want people to know a little bit of the meat of that article. And then what you just said, AJ, brings me to the reason I wanted to talk about the movie, which is not, oh, there's all this turmoil and let's talk about the news. Like I actually have a thought about, you know, the movie itself and whether or not we need it and where it's coming from. Basically, the article says, you know, there's some interesting information in there. Basically, that, you know, there was a day on set where, you know, they were in the Millennium Falcon all morning and didn't start filming until 1:00. And then they only took like 3 camera angles in there.
Yeah, 3 camera angles when they were expecting 12 to 15.
Yeah. And because Lucasfilm likes to get a ton of coverage so that they can edit stuff, you know, they don't have to have as many takes of a scene.
Exactly.
And they can get a whole bunch of different outlooks on things. And, you know, they were like, we don't do that. And, you know,
yeah, so you as the director, you're there to shoot 1,000 different angles and then you're handing it off to the careful hands at Star Wars and Lucasfilm, and they will piece together the movie.
Yeah. And then there was the stuff about, you know, the Ace Ventura, like you said, Steve, and there was the one guy that said, you know, Han Solo's not a comedic character, so they weren't really happy with, the direction of what they were doing with the character of Han Solo. So they brought in an acting coach, which according to the article is not an unusual thing on a movie set.
Not this late in the game, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, not this late in the game, but they do that. They bring in an acting coach to try and direct the performance a little bit. So they had to do that. And they were talking about, I guess, when there was a huge round of applause when they announced that, the two directors were let go, but it was clarified to say that, people weren't cheering that they were gone. They were just cheering because they got another director and they were excited the movie was still going to go on. And, I guess like the two directors that were let go are in contact with Ron Howard, and they're being very professional, and they're communicating, and they're trying to make sure the movie still gets done, and they're being very helpful, which is great. So that's cool. I don't know. I mean, the thing that makes me nervous in the article is where they say that their sources are saying that Alden Ehrenreich's take on the character is unique. And brings something extra to the character, but it's different a little bit. And I don't like that.
Okay. Do you want to get into that a little bit?
Because and my reason for bringing this topic to the show, we can talk about this because here's the reason why I brought the topic to the show. And I'll lead off of that last point. I get nervous when I hear somebody saying, well, he's bringing an interesting take to the Han Solo character. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see Han frickin' Solo. Don't give me your interpretation of Han Solo. It's like when you go see a cover band and they try and sing Journey or Guns N' Roses and they do their interpretation of it. It's like, you're not Journey or Guns N' Roses. Sing the damn song the way it's supposed to be sung. And in the Han Solo movie, don't give me your interpretation of Han Solo. Give me Han Solo. You're not Harrison Ford. You're not Han Solo. But I remembered that this is kind of like the Marvel movies, but in reverse. Meaning you have the Iron Man movies and the Captain America movies and the Hulk and the Thor films and stuff. And what you have is everything in chronological order. Mm-hmm. So you meet Captain America and you find out he's like this little scrawny kid. He gets a super soldier serum and then he becomes Captain America. Then he goes on adventures. Whereas with this, we already know Han Solo, and now we're getting the very first chapter. So it's kind of done in reverse. So he's already established. So I was thinking, why do we need this story? But if you look at it in terms of the Marvel Universe, which is a very good backdrop, I think, a very good example to lead from, I think it's okay. But it's also, as you guys have said, very dangerous ground to tread. Because you already do know the character. In the Marvel universe, you can do whatever you want with Steve Rogers in the first movie and then build off what you did in the first movie.
Like you said, because it's chronological order, everything they do from here on out doesn't change what you know about the character.
Yeah, you started from square one.
So now that you're going from essentially the middle, we went forward and now we're starting way back at the beginning again.
Episode 4 is like square 2.
Yeah.
But this is square 1. So you've got episode 4, 5, 6, and 7 to know about Han Solo. Mm-hmm. Now they're going to square 1 with this movie. It's like, that's what I originally, when I heard they were doing a Han Solo movie, even though he's my favorite character, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Well, you've just hit on the problem with prequels in general. Anytime you're telling a story that precedes another, the first question is, do we need this story? Because there's a lot of people that argue the entire prequel trilogy is not necessary. You can pick, and you did, that's the way they were made. Episode 4 picks up the story of Star Wars, and it never felt like, well, this kind of sucks because there's so much stuff in what would have been 1, 2, and 3 that I don't know about. It stands on its own, and it has to by nature of being the first thing released to audiences. It may not be the first thing that happens in the story, but you have to tell a complete enough story that it doesn't lean on all the gaps that you've left in the backstory.
Yeah.
So by even telling a Han Solo backstory, you're like, well, I already know who Han Solo is, and I don't really care what happened to him before.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character now. Whatever events led him to that, I mean, that's the hard thing about prequels. There's certain things that you cannot do. He's never in mortal danger. Any other familiar characters that show up in later films are never in mortal danger. The Millennium Falcon can't be destroyed. He can't go and meet certain characters because he meets them for the first time later. or he has to meet certain characters because he already knew them later. You know, there's all kinds of details that you have to work around, and it really hems you in as far as what stories you can tell. I think what they're going to do with it personally, and I'll get off the speculation here in a minute. But
that's all right.
I think by going back in the timeline, they're going to use that to set up events in other stories that they've been telling, because they're dipping right back into that whole, let's see, they said ages 18 to 24, right? So that's what, about 5 to 10 years before episode 4?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. So if it's 5 to 10 years before episode 4, then we're looking at the just before Rogue One era, somewhere near the Rebels era.
Yeah, I was kind of
before.
Yeah, I was wondering about that, thinking about Rogue One and the prequel stuff. I was wondering if it is close enough that they're going to try to tie, slightly try to tie Rogue One in the Han Solo story somehow.
Yeah, they love to connect these things, and that's what they're doing now with all these Easter eggs. So I could totally see them like telling the Han Solo movie and having Rebels references in there, especially.
Yeah,
because that was what everyone lost their minds for with Rogue One was, oh my God, General Syndulla, that's Hera. I see Chopper, and there's the Ghost, and so like that could definitely be a vehicle for them to just like bring it all in. Maybe make like a comic reference, like, oh, there's something from Dr. Aphra or whatever.
Yeah.
Just bring it all in so you feel like everything is indispensable information now, because
it's some point during that movie Han Solo's going to run in with Ahsoka.
Right. That could legit happen, actually.
You know what?
Could.
You know what I would say to that? Oh, come on! Like,
really? I think that'd be cool.
No, it wouldn't. It would just be too obvious of a tie-in, I think. But I think you guys make good points, though. I mean, that's probably what they're gonna. They can use this to tie together stuff, in the novels now, and like you said, in Rebels, like there's different story points they can tie in.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. Like
even that might be lightweight annoying though. Once the Han Solo movie comes out, if they do tie it into Rebels somehow, and you just sit there and get that little bad taste in your mouth that you're like, really? Like
it could even be something. It could even be something as simple.
Ezra, like really,
really,
that's what we got to believe right now.
Maybe Han kills Ezra.
I was just gonna say
that'd be okay. I could live with that.
Maybe like one of the smuggling runs he goes on, and as he's like growing up or working under this mentor character that Woody Harrelson is playing, is like they like go to Lothal. Could happen.
Could be. That Lothal is going to show up in a film at some point.
Oh yeah,
is Woody Harrelson working with him before he goes to the Hunger Games?
Right.
These seem to be his characters now. Actually, that's one of the guys I was excited for with the cast announcements. I'm like, okay, so let's see. We got Haymitch from the Hunger Games. We've got what's his name? Tennessee? No, Tennessee is Emma Stone's character in Zombieland. What the hell's Woody Harrelson's character in that movie?
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, yeah. So you got Tallahassee and Haymitch.
The Millennium Falcon's got a big 3 on the side of it.
Yet another, oh, come on.
And then towards the end of the movie, him and Han Solo play some one-on-one basketball with Mace Windu.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it treads such thin ice because, I mean, they've already said it's gonna show how he meets Lando. It's gonna show how he gets the Millennium Falcon, and I'm cool seeing that. Because we already knew that those things happened, but they're so major. Even though a lot of people say we don't need to see that, you kind of want to see it happen. I mean, you want to, you want to hear about the 12 parsecs. You want it to be canonized. How it happened. And then
they'll probably tie it into episode 7 or something that they'll claim it was 14 parsecs when it was really 12 or something.
Right.
This is more of that painting in every corner though, where this is the prequel backlash that was faced with 1, 2, and 3 is everyone's got ideas in their minds of how these things transpired. Now they're going to put it on screen. It better live up to the hype, and that's going to be a tall order. Yeah, really tall order.
This one, like, I'm so nervous for this movie because it just seems to me that it really has only 2 possible outcomes. Like, it's either going to be amazing, like Rogue One, or it's going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and after Rogue One, now your expectations are kind of up for it too.
Yeah.
So it's just as scary because of the things we've covered before, but now because they did such a good job with Rogue One, you go, it's Han Solo. It's gotta be that good.
Yeah.
It has to be that good. Or like you said, there's no gray area. This thing is going to be trash or it's going to be amazing. One of the two.
And this is the first time that they've had a new actor step into such an iconic role. Like, you say what you want about Alec Guinness and then Ewan McGregor doing Obi-Wan, but Alec Guinness wasn't. I said McGinnis, didn't I? Alec Guinness.
If you did, I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Alec Guinness, he didn't have that much screen time, so that role was still open enough, and the time separation between Alec Guinness's character and when we pick up in episode 1 was far enough that
I could see that. I would actually disagree with that.
Hold on. There was room to maneuver there, though. You know, like, because Ewan didn't play it exactly like Alec Guinness. He put mannerisms in there and did all that stuff, but there was enough of a separation in the timeline of the character that you had some wiggle room in how to play it. You cannot step into Han Solo's role and not try to do Harrison Ford as Han Solo.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean,
that's the thing. Like, they're saying Alden Ehrenreich brings a new dimension to the character. Like, okay, in Star Trek, when they rebooted it, you could do a different take because it was an alternate universe.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the exact same person as we saw in 1977. So you don't bring anything new to the table. You better play it identically.
Yeah, and that's what I worry about. Like, and thankfully,
and it hurts you more being a huge Han Solo mark too.
That's why I'm nervous.
This is like the scariest movie Star Wars could ever make.
And that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this. We got a new guy playing the character. Do you want a perfect impersonation of Harrison Ford's Han Solo? Or do you think he should stay away from it because you can't copy the original?
See, that's hard. Like, I want to see Han Solo. When I see someone, again, I always liken it to that music example that I gave where, you know, with a tribute band. I don't want to see your interpretation of Steve Perry. Sing Steve Perry. Okay, he's Steve Perry. You're not.
Yeah, don't change the solo in November Rain. You don't don't deserve that.
Yeah.
You play
this guy
what
sold,
it's supposed to be.
Yeah, this guy sold 100 million records. You're a hack asshole in the bar. I don't want to hear your crap. Just sing the damn song.
You can't play Slash, but you should at least try.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know.
But don't you think audiences might crap on that harder if they're like, he's clearly trying to do Harrison Ford's character, but he's totally not doing Han.
Yeah, I was about
you, sir, are no Harrison Ford.
Hey, you, sir.
Away with you.
I said good day, sir.
I said good day, sir. No, I mean, I think you made a good point about Ewan McGregor and his portrayal of Obi-Wan, and that there's a little wiggle room. And when you were mentioning that, the wiggle room that I see in that character was youth.
Yeah.
And I think Alden Ehrenreich's portrayal of Han Solo has the benefit of that, if anything. You know, it is a younger Han Solo.
We're talking like 6 years compared to 40 years, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you never know. I mean, it could be one of those things where this is the movie where Han Solo was this idealistic dude, and all the crap hits the fan in this movie that kind of turns him into a jaded piece of, you know, like scoundrel crap. You never know. So, I mean, I guess you could do that with it, but you know, it goes back to what, you know, Steve and I were talking about. This has such a potential to be absolutely incredible and make the Han Solo character even more kick-ass, or it's just going to just blow chunks. I mean, because you can't just be like, yeah, that was okay. I mean, I guess it's Han Solo. No, that's like Indiana Jones. You can't have just an Indiana Jones movie. It's either it's a kick-ass Indiana Jones movie or it's not. You know, people hate Crystal Skull and they love the other three. There's no.
It's like you said, AJ. The Obi-Wan comparison's a little different because the original trilogy, Obi-Wan, like you said, little screen time. He was almost a background, secondary character to the movie. So right. Obi-Wan didn't become a focal point until the prequels when McGregor did it and had half the movie he was on screen and everything. You know, with Han Solo, this is, like you said, it's a established character, a amazing character that you had 40 years with Obi-Wan, but you're trying to tie in 5, 6, 10 years at the most between the end of this movie and the beginning of episode 4. It's very tough water to tread on this movie.
Yeah. And I mean, does anybody really want a unique take on Han Solo? I really,
You want to see the stories, but you don't. It's so weird. You want to see it all, but at the same time, you really don't.
You know who they should consult? You know who they should bring in on this? Dave Filoni. Because so much of the Clone Wars was George Lucas playing around and being like, you know what? What if we did a monster movie in Star Wars? And that's where you get episodes like the Zillo Beast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, they did that. They did that experimentation, but they did it in such a way with George Lucas's direction that kept it within the realm of Star Wars. So if they want to go in different directions, but not get too far off the path and have to fire directors again.
And this movie is in that time frame too that Filoni has basically made his career in.
Mm-hmm.
So, it'd be an excellent choice to bring in and do some executive,
Yeah, I mean, if the biggest problem was that these guys were going off the rails in the wrong direction, he could be like, okay, here's how we kept it in check on the Clone Wars, and go from there.
Yeah, because that time frame of the Star Wars universe is pretty much owned, operated by Dave Filoni. So, this guy should have the final say-so on what the hell's going on in this movie, honestly.
That'll be interesting to see how much stuff is in there from, like prequel era stuff or Rebels era stuff. Because it is in that time period. That'll be interesting to see if they... Because they've had photographs from the set. Have you guys looked at those?
I saw very minimal.
I saw some car thing.
It looks all
they're gonna Photoshop the wheels off of.
Yeah.
Does that worry you? Like it worries me. It looks all blocky. Like it's everything has to be all. This is different from every single movie. Like, okay, at some point they're just gonna have to go. They got to
introduce new things for Lego kits and toys and stuff. So
I'm just like, it looks kind of. I mean, this is the first time I've seen like stuff from the set or concept art. I'm like, that looks really dumpy. I don't know, man. Like
plus I get the whole used universe aesthetic. At some point, that was a new universe.
Yeah.
If we're seeing junky stuff in episode 4, then, and this has always been my gripe, even with like Revenge of the Sith, I think 20 years is a good time span. If we've got a crappy looking X-Wing in episode 4, I should see a brand new one in episode 3.
Right. Fresh off the lot.
But yeah,
no depreciation.
Especially in this case, we're talking about, like we said, about 10 years, right in that midpoint between 3 and 4. This is exactly when we should be getting a ton of original trilogy stuff, but nice.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, at some point, they're always so interested in having
old beat up prequel stuff, but not new beat up stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like in the somewhat off topic, but in the Thrawn novel, I mean, one of the major plot points revolves around buzz droids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and they're, people reconditioning them from, broken down Clone Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that was a cool concept, you know,
pulling old stuff forward and recognizing that it's still around.
Yeah. And it's just, I mean, these movies are so into, we have to show all this new stuff, which is fine. But at some point, I mean, I just feel like they're going to reach a point where it's going to look stupid. And you're like, just show me a TIE fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, show me an X-Wing.
No, this is an early form of the TIE fighter, and it didn't work, and that's why the new design in episode 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool stuff, and I thankfully Rogue One is out because I'm worried about this movie a lot, but then I have Rogue One to fall back on, going, that movie was fantastic, and so you kind of have to trust them, which actually brings me to a point that you and I talked about, AJ. And I'm sure, Steve, you'll have something to say about this one, but AJ had made the point of, does Kathleen Kennedy have her fingers in too many pies? Does she have too much control? And I think not, because basically she sided with Lawrence Kasdan on this whole director thing.
Right.
And, I'm sorry, the guy wrote Empire and Jedi. And he helped with episode 7. I mean, which is my least favorite, but
and we've also talked about it before. George wouldn't have not left this in the hands of the most capable person on the planet to hold this either. So
they've been with Lucasfilm for like 35 years. I mean, they've been there almost every step of the way in the Star Wars universe. And so, I mean, your point is an interesting one, AJ, that like, do they have too much control? Do they hold people by the hand? Like, no, you have to do it this way. This is the Lucasfilm way. I don't think so. Because I'm like, they obviously their track record speaks for itself. And I want to see a Star Wars movie. I don't want to see someone screwing with it too much.
And, and you love it or hate it, she has been at the helm of the 2 highest grossing Star Wars movies that have come out. So, I mean, inflation, blah, 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 episode 1 or 4 is better, but but still. So it's.
And just merchandising and marketing in general, they pushed these a lot more.
Yeah.
It was hard. It's amazing to say that these have been pushed more than other Star Wars films, but I mean, it's Disney's marketing department behind it now. So they're doing so much better at cross-platform and everything. But no, my issue with Kathleen Kennedy and Kasdan being in everything isn't so much that they're in everything, because like you said, George Lucas was in everything before. So we're used to having one guy steering the ship. But they keep talking about wanting to bring in different voices and creative influences and try different directions. And ultimately, what we've seen so far is that when someone tries a different direction, usually they're out for it. And then these guys come in and put it right back to what it was. It's like, okay, if you really want a different direction, then you've got to let that different direction happen. Or if you don't, say that you don't. Because bringing these people in because of their unique point of view and then pushing them out the door because their point of view was too unique, or they, followed your directive too much. I mean, remember, Rogue One underwent tremendous reshoots, and what's the guy's name? Josh Trank? No, Josh Trank was
the Boba Fett movie. Gareth Edwards,
who came in to Tony Gilroy.
Yeah, Gilroy.
Gilroy came in and basically handled all the reshoots. So while Gareth Edwards did help, he wasn't pushed out the door entirely. He was left to make his movie, and then Kathleen Kennedy swooped in and said, oh, wait a minute, this isn't going the way we want it to. Let's bring in another guy for reshoots to help. And he gets like equal billing with Gareth Edwards almost at this point on the credits sheet.
I don't think he does. I would completely disagree with that. You couldn't even remember his name, and we're super nerds. I knew you were talking about him. Like, I don't remember his name. Well, everyone remembers Gareth Edwards. I mean, and maybe that's because he was the face of the marketing. But,
right, exactly. They didn't bring out Gilroy, but as far as who handled all the reshoots, and reshoots are done to fix the things that you didn't get the first time around, and these were extended reshoots. We knew that. It's because they didn't like what they were getting from the first round of shooting.
We don't know that.
That's why you do reshoots.
No, it's also to add stuff that you might think the story needs.
They doctored the script, and they're like, oh, we got to shoot some more stuff for the new stuff that we put in the script.
That doesn't mean the first part sucked. I mean,
well, if it worked, they wouldn't have rewritten the script and reshot it.
No,
it could also just been added ideas later.
Yeah,
once they saw the story, they went, "Oh yeah, we could put this in there and make it look even better than it already does."
Yeah, they specifically said that was part of it.
Oh, reshoots always happen. That's planned. Even this, they're saying like, yeah, we already had reshoots planned for the Han Solo film. Every film plans for reshoots, but the breadth and scope of the reshoots for Rogue One is what is still not entirely clear, but it's more than a usual film would have. Agreed? That part is not being disputed by any outlet I've seen.
No.
So you go from that to then this one where they straight up punted the directors out the door for doing their style. And they said that, these Lord and Miller are known for their improvisational style. So they're like asking their actors to improv, and they get shown the door for it. Like, well, you really didn't want what they sold. Like you told them to go do their thing. They did their thing, and you fired them for it. So maybe you should be clearer in what you're asking for up front.
Well, I don't know, because to me, I think when you bring in a director on a Star Wars movie, to me, it's kind of like, I think what they want is, think of a Star Wars movie as like a lump of clay. I'm full of metaphors tonight. Think of a Star Wars film as a lump of clay. They hand it to you, go, okay, make a Star Wars movie, put your twist on it. So they take the Star Wars movie, they twist it a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit different looking lump of clay. But I think what these guys were doing was, well, we do a certain kind of movie. They brought their lump of clay and wanted to stick a Star Wars sticker on it. And that's not how you do it. You can't just all of a sudden take this monstrous left turn and go, it's a Star Wars movie. Like, no. Well, and I think you have to trust Kathleen Kennedy when, Lucasfilm was purchased for $4 billion, and she's been at the helm of 2 movies and has made $3 billion at box office alone.
Well, stories like that, the 3-camera setup day, what that tells me is maybe even the material, and they said a lot of the material is perfectly usable. It's not like they're going to ditch everything and
they can use the majority of it.
Yeah, I think it was because of that improvisational style, and the crew's not used to, because they're using, I'm guessing, a lot of the same crew for these. They're shooting them at the same studio. Pinewood's getting all the work. So I'm guessing that the crew is starting to get adjusted to like, this is how a Star Wars production runs. They get these two guys in here who have a completely different way of doing things. So I think it's just a matter of efficiency. They're like, look, man, we got a shooting schedule and you're not following it. We are falling way behind on this stuff. So we don't trust that you're able to bring this in on time and on budget. So
yeah, I can kind of see it happening. You look at the movies those guys made and you enjoy them and you go, this could work with Star Wars. And so you bring them on, but you don't know what you're getting until you mesh those two together. Like you said, the lump of clay, you don't know until you're sticking the two lumps of clay together and you go, all right, this really ain't working the way I thought it was going to. So let's just part ways and be done with it.
To use your band metaphor, JT, it's like when you replace a guitarist or something and you start writing new songs.
It's like when you put Sammy Hagar in.
Yeah, actually it is.
Don't get me down that road.
But it is. You have to. You're going to get something different from the original because the ingredients are different, but you still have a formula you have to stick to. If you don't sound like yourselves anymore, then you're off the mark.
Yeah, that's why this doesn't really bother me, because the stuff that was coming out about what they were trying to do just didn't seem like they were trying to stay true enough to the Han Solo character.
And I wonder how much of that is just media spin, because Star Wars is so good at controlling the media. The stories that come out, of course, when the directors are shown the door from a Star Wars movie, all you're going to hear is what was going wrong with the Star Wars movie. You're not going to hear, hey, that movie was great, and now they're going to just screw it up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're only going to get the negative end of all that stuff.
History is told by the victors.
Yeah. But I don't know, because in this article it does say that, the directors are texting back and forth with Ron Howard and they're putting a positive spin on certain things. So, it's not like when Josh Trank got booted from the Boba Fett film like a week before Celebration Anaheim, and they were like, yeah, he spazzed out. Like, he had a mental breakdown or whatever it was. They didn't really pull too many punches with that. So, it seems like this is a mutual type of a thing. And I think if it wasn't, there would be no reason for them to be going back and forth with Ron Howard and being like, here, do this, do that.
Yeah,
but
this is just a shift in filmmaking for Star Wars. When George Lucas was involved, it was an independent filmmaker who had this way to do his own stuff. Now it's very much a studio production. So there's Bob Iger to answer to, Kathleen Kennedy to answer to, the shareholders of Disney, so on and so on.
Yeah. I think the changes they want to make to the movie are quite obviously a little extreme, though, because they were 3 weeks from being done filming, and now they're shooting through September.
Yeah,
there's even talk of this being pushed back from a May release of next year, because they're going to finish in September, and then they have to have the movie out 8 months later. So they have to do all the post production on a schedule that's nearly impossible because of this change.
Did you guys ever think they were going to hit that May release date to begin with?
Should have been able to.
You would think so.
Here's what I'm thinking. They were going to go 18 months without a Star Wars movie. It's now become a normal thing that every December is when you get a Star Wars. Going back to the May release, like why are you rushing another Star Wars movie out 6 months after Last Jedi and then having a year and a half until Episode 9?
I wondered about that myself. I never believed they would do it. Whether or not they could have it ready.
It was probably some goofy thing that they really just wanted that May release again. It was probably some fan thing that these movies should be coming out in December. So they probably were pushing it just to try to appease people.
Episode 9 has a May release, if I remember reading correctly.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought that was going back to December.
That one's May as well.
Yeah,
so I think
because they said Han was going to be May, and then it was going to be a year after that.
And then Episode 9. So they were doing that. But this scheduling really puts a lot of stuff up in the air, because if they do have to push it back, that means they probably have to push Episode 9 back.
And they're competing with themselves. They got the whole Marvel franchise.
Yeah,
and they've got all those movies slated out and in various stages of production. So it's not like you're going to bump one of those for Star Wars, because they're already underway.
Yeah. I don't know. I've always thought they would only ever put them out in December, despite the fact they announced May for that exact reason. I mean, the Marvel movies are summer. I mean, when you're putting out, Infinity Wars, you're not going to go head to head with that because that. I mean, we're perfect examples. We're almost as big of Marvel fans as we are Star Wars fans. I mean, we're going to go see all the Marvel movies. We're going to go see all the Star Wars movies.
Say something gets all screwed up and Han Solo and Infinity War comes out the same month and you got money for one movie.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what they're afraid. And plus,
personally, I'm too scared of the Han Solo movie. I'd probably go see Infinity War at this point.
and personally, I don't care if they came out and announced that Han Solo. Yeah, we just had Han Solo on the toilet for 2 hours and he doesn't do anything. I'd be like, I'm going to Han Solo. I'll see Avengers later.
See, and I'm not that much of a purist where I have to have a May release for my Star Wars, especially, right. I mean, from a business standpoint, it makes way more sense for them to do a December release because that's holiday season. That's toy season.
I don't care because
nothing comes out in December. They got it's monopolized at that point. They get everything.
And that's smart, but my job, May is the slow time. And in December, we're not allowed to take time off. So I want it in May because then I can actually take off the day after and go to the movie like 4 times.
Well, there you have it, Star Wars. You need to release these things in May for John only.
Yep. Hey,
follow my vacation schedule, damn you.
Yeah, you jerks.
By the way,
doing?
My wife is already annoyed because I told her that when episode 8 comes out this December, that if I can they're talking about giving each employee 1 day off in the busy season, which they have a blackout on PTO for November, December. And I told her, I said, I'm taking off the Friday that The Last Jedi comes out, and I'm just going to sit in the theater and watch it like 3 or 4 times. And she's like, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, it may be stupid and it may be a waste of money, but I can tell you what else it is. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not up for debate, dude. I'm going to watch Star Wars a ton of times.
Well, I think you saw episode 7 at least 7 times, right?
Yeah, but I saw episode 3 13 times in the theater.
I was just going to say maybe you see this one 8 times, but
it was
13.
There'll be one on Thursday night like usual, and then however many you can plow through on Friday.
It was more than 7 for episode 7. I think it was double digits, like 10 or 11 or something. But my record still is 13 for episode 3. But I remember as a kid, I think I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark like probably 15, 16, 17 times. I made our father take me to that movie every week. It felt like I just had to go see that movie again and again and again and again.
So we're back onto the Harrison Ford track. Okay,
dude,
so,
I've said many times that my favorite movie character of all time is Han Solo, followed closely by Indiana Jones. I love Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'm one of those guys. I mean, I love the character of Indiana Jones. I just want to see Indiana Jones kicking ass. That's one reason I'm excited for the Han Solo movie we're talking about. As much as I'm nervous, I'm getting a whole movie of Han Solo kicking ass. That's why I don't want his unique take. I don't want to hear what you think Han Solo would do. You know what I want you to do? Be freaking Han Solo.
Why don't you like Force Awakens more then? That's the one movie that gets Harrison Ford as Han Solo, and he's not a supporting character. Because let's face it, in the original trilogy, Han Solo is a supporting character.
Han Solo is never a supporting
Luke Skywalker
character.
Is the focus. That's why it's called the Skywalker saga.
No, it's not. It's called Han Solo Kicks Ass.
But this is something I wanted to bring up about the Han Solo movie.
That Han Solo kicks ass?
Han Solo is at his best when he is playing off of other things. He's the fish out of water, basically. You know, all this, the Empire and all this Jedi stuff and Force stuff is going on. He's the everyman who's looking around like, what is all this crap? I'm not good with any of this, guys. You know, that's what makes him fun. Is he's the guy not playing along with the rest of the story going on, basically. So then episode 7 rolls around. That's the most Han Solo we've gotten in any movie.
That's why
I think he's got the most screen time in 7 of any of the 4 films he was in.
Probably.
And I think I don't think he really brought it because there wasn't as much stuff to play off of.
I'm going to come across the table at you and start throwing punches if you say that again.
Okay. Of the 4 movies that Han Solo's been in, which one is Han Solo the best in?
Which one is he the honeyest in?
What's your favorite Han Solo Star Wars movie?
See, that's really hard. That's a really hard one to answer because as a little kid, when I saw episode 4, I loved Han Solo. And then he was all over episode 5 because it was like a 2-part. It was like a Luke story going on at one part, and then the Han and Leia, on the other side. So there's a bunch of Han Solo in there. There was I Love You, I Know. He was, he was in episode 6 was cool because he was blind but still kicking ass, and he was the general that blew up the the shield the bunker or whatever. But see, it's easy to say episode 7 because it was like a nostalgia trip. Like, I mean, you were, as we've said many times, when we saw that trailer in our hotel room in Anaheim, and he's like, Chewie, we're home. You were there when I screamed and jumped in the air, and I had tears running down my face. I was so
excited. We even brought that up for the episode 8 trailer, that it's become, hey, there was no Chewie, we're home moment.
Yeah.
So it's that was the moment of the trailer.
Yeah.
And even though you knew it was coming, it still kind of gave you goosebumps when you saw that part of the movie in theaters too.
It's like, that's the Han Solo that's freshest on my mind. And it was a nostalgia trip to see Han Solo, but he was still Han Solo. It was like 30 years later, he's still Han Solo. And it was just amazing. So I would have to sit and think about it like I had to do with where I would rank Rogue One in with the other 7 movies. I would have to sit and think about what my favorite Han Solo is, because the episode 7 one is so fresh in my mind, and it's such an extreme because I got more of him, but then they quote unquote killed him off. I mean, he's still alive. And I mean,
it's
I
real
don't
to me,
know.
damn it.
Yeah. I will forever be in denial, but no, I mean, I don't know. But that's what I'm saying is, it's like, I don't want this new Han Solo movie. I don't want someone's take. I want a whole movie of the Han Solo I know to go around kicking ass.
I could very, very easily see JT getting red in the face, pissed off 5-10 minutes into this movie.
Yeah.
If it's not played just right. You know what I'm saying?
I have to admit,
AJ?
that's on my mind. I'm going to be sitting there like, that's not Han Solo. That's not how he would do it.
We can't sit with him in the theater with this thing, because he could potentially ruin this whole experience for us within the first few minutes if something is not right about Han, the character in this movie.
I'll tell you this. If they get this movie right, they can do no wrong. If you can actually make a Han Solo movie with a different actor and still have people like me walk out going, that was freaking awesome,
I could see
you can't screw something up.
I can see that, especially if they're talking a Kenobi movie, but they're talking bringing Ewan McGregor back, we're talking a Mace Windu thing or a Yoda thing, you could, that's all CGI. There's no way you can ruin that one. Like this, this is probably the scariest anthology movie they could.
It's the easiest character to screw up.
Yeah,
it's the easiest character to screw up.
Well, I want to lose every one of our audience members under the age of 30 right now with a couple metaphors.
Okay, at least he put an age, because I thought he was just going to say something about episode 1 when he said we're going to lose. I want
everybody to turn the show off.
The Han Solo movie could either be what Frasier was to Cheers, or it could be what Joey was to Friends.
Yeah, that's a very good metaphor.
You're taking because, like I said, Han Solo is not the focus of the episodes. He's a major character, but it's about the Skywalkers and Luke's character arc overall. You're gonna pull Han Solo from the quote unquote background. He's not the main character. He's not the through line of the entire thing, like the Skywalkers are.
Don't forget, I threaten physical violence on you if you keep disrespecting Han Solo like this.
I know, and I'm standing within slapping range, so I need to be careful.
If you diss the Fed again, I will cornhole you with a lightsaber. So, fanboys, we don't quote that one enough.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying is, I think part of what's so hard about this movie is Han Solo works by playing off of other things. So I want to see what they're going to give him in this movie to play off of, because if it's just Han Solo front and center, well, it's going to be very hard to make that interesting.
But I think that goes back to my whole take that they're kind of doing it in reverse. So I'm going to take it with a grain of salt, because I'm gonna force myself to come to the realization that this was supposed to come before the Han Solo we've already seen a ton of. So like I say, we got Steve Rogers from square one. We got Tony Stark from square one. We got Thor from square one. But we got Han Solo from square two. So what they're telling us is what came before this. And I'm really trying to not base my enjoyment of the movie on, well, that's not Han Solo.
That's going to be the hardest thing, because
It is.
what does every movie do? It runs a story and changes the character through the events of the story. So you're not going to start with Han Solo as you know him.
Yeah.
You're going to see that at the end of the movie. So you're going to be waiting the whole, I can see it right now, JT. You're going to be sitting there the whole damn time waiting for that moment where you're like, now he's Han Solo.
Yeah. I mean, it's true.
It's going to take a couple of views for you to appreciate the movie, though. I think the first viewing is either you're going to come out pissed or you're going to come out with a sigh of relief that they did it justice.
Yeah.
It's going to take at least 2 times before you can sit there and go, okay, like now I can appreciate what he did to the character.
Yeah.
If you can appreciate it, it might be trash. Who knows?
Yeah. No, that's completely true. But I am so torn on this movie because there's just so many facets to what I think, what I know I should think, what I'm expecting, what I shouldn't expect.
Like I said, it's scary because it's your character.
Yeah.
It's when you see your guy being put on the forefront, especially with what you know already, and you go, it's everything I said earlier, that this could potentially ruin the character going forward. You could watch 4, 5, 6, 7 and not like Han Solo as a character anymore because of what this movie does. I won't. But
I will.
That's very extreme. But you could sit there and watch episode 7 and just go, ugh. Like you could just have that bad taste in your mouth because of
it'll make me hate the Han Solo standalone movie even more. I'd be like, boy, did you screw this up?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
Like you'll look at 4, 5, 6, and 7 and go. I hate the Han Solo movie so much for making me hate him now.
Well, I won't hate him now.
I'll just very extreme, but yeah.
Basically, I will put the Han Solo standalone movie out of my head. I'll be like, this is one that I'll buy on 3D Blu-ray just so I can say that I have the full collection.
But it goes right on the shelf next to the Christmas special.
It's a completist thing. I mean, honestly, what I'm afraid it's going to be.
The world needs another Ewok movie.
Honestly, you know what I'm really afraid this is going to be? The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Because as a kid, I was a huge Indiana Jones fan. Then they announced that television show, and I watched like 2 episodes. I'm like, who is this doorknob?
Revisionist history, but I keep hearing good things about that in hindsight.
Oh,
I kind of want to see it now. I wonder if it's available anywhere to get a look at.
Maybe you gotta go back and look at it as an adult instead of watching it when it was on TV in 93-ish or something.
Early 90s. I remember watching it going, this isn't like Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
like, what the hell?
I remember that too. It was just
at least was it River Phoenix is the one that died, right? At the beginning of Last Crusade, he had that kind of sneer and that kind of attitude. And it was like, okay, even in just like 5 or 6, 10 minutes, whatever the heck it was of him being young Indiana Jones, you could kind of see he had that kind of feel to him. But the show, I was like, I didn't really get that at all. I'm like, who the hell is this? So I was like, ugh. So I just completely discredit it. And I'm hoping this movie is not that with Han Solo.
Either way, good or bad. God, how nice would it be to just sit down and watch that movie with Harrison Ford in the room with you?
Oh God.
How great would it be to sit there and just get his take on that for the whole 90, 110 minutes, whatever that movie's going to run.
I got to tell you, I love Billy D. Williams for sitting down with Donald Glover and like going over like, well, here's what I did with, Lando. Here's, the and from what I read, Harrison Ford basically was just like, make it your own. Like, don't ape what I did. And I'd be like, if I was sitting at the table, I'd look at him and be like, you. Like, go f- yourself. No, don't listen to him, Alden. Don't you listen to him. And then smack Harrison with a backhand and go, no, you do exactly what he did.
Harrison,
you're getting old. Around.
You're getting old and talking crazy.
Yeah, enough of this. You broke your leg and crashed a plane on a golf course. You obviously have concussions. Don't be talking that craziness. Like, no. You do exactly what Harrison Ford did. Don't you even think about doing anything else.
Well, that's exactly why Harrison Ford wanted Han Solo to die early on anyway. He's like, this character is boring. He's going nowhere. He's not interesting to play. So, of course, he'd be the first one to tell someone else who's got a crack at the role, do something different.
Who gives a crap? What does he know? I will still always be amazed at that. Like, oh, he's going nowhere. He's not. He's one of the coolest characters ever. Why do you think he's so legendary? I've always wondered why he's got such a crass outlook on it. It's like,
why do you think
shut up.
Why do you think Nikki Sixx made everybody in Motley Crue sign a contract that said they were never getting back together, because he's the same way. He's like, I don't want to do the same crap. I've already done that. I'm an artist. I want to do something different.
You can get out of that kind of contract. He's full of crap on that.
Well, yeah, obviously that's like retiring in wrestling. But
I get it.
But it's different to see the different approaches, because you've got Billy D. Williams, who is like basically like, if he was a dog, he'd be pissing on the tree of Lando Calrissian. Like, right? He's like, that's my character, man. I get that I'm too old to play him now, but that's my character.
But I love that.
So he's not like being gregarious with his knowledge of the part with Donald Glover. He's like, no, you want to be Lando? Fine, I'll tell you how to do Lando. I'll tell you how I did Lando, and that's how you do Lando.
But
Harrison Ford is like, Han Solo, okay, you play him. Go ahead, have fun.
Yeah, if I was Alden Ehrenreich, I'd be like, no, dude, I want to know what you did. Like, I'm not you, so it's not going to come out like you.
Right, you want to hire an acting coach for Alden Ehrenreich? Hire Harrison Ford.
Yeah, like, why would you not?
You could tell the way that when they asked him about the movie during Celebration, and the way that Harrison just shot that thing in the crapper so fast.
I think that's the other thing, is he knows that no one's going to out Han Solo Harrison Ford.
Well,
so
yeah,
he's like, sure,
true.
go ahead.
You could tell he did not want to be bothered for this movie, as an acting coach, as whatever. That's why he said, do what you want, so you can leave me the hell alone.
I just wish he would embrace Star Wars a little more. It's like, I get it. It's not your thing. And you like the whole, you want to be known for all these various roles and have a broad scope of things you can do. And, Han Solo's just like the scoundrel good guy type of standard character. But I mean, dude, like, that's what you're known for. That's, like, people don't know you from those goofy, what was that movie that they drove like past the billboard for in Fanboys?
6 Days, 7 Nights.
yeah. Stuff like that. Like
Air Force One.
Regarding Henry.
It's not like Han.
Stop it.
It's not like Harrison Ford's ever going to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
They drive by the billboard for...
Yeah, 6 days, 7 nights. Yeah, like, just embrace it, dude. Like, it's not a bad thing.
We get it. You were in Blade Runner. Like, it's great, whatever.
Yeah. Like, we know you want to be like a big, like, wide-ranged actor. We know that. But just embrace the fact that people know you the most for Han Solo and Indiana Jones, because those are great characters. But I mean, I'm sorry, but if you see the making of documentary of Indiana Jones, they did it the same thing on the DVD release of the Indiana Jones trilogy as they did with Star Wars, where they have basically like the Empire of Dreams type of thing, where it's the making of the first 3 movies, and they have Tom Selleck as Han Solo. If you see Tom Selleck as Han Solo, and you imagine, like, it's just not the same. So I don't understand why he doesn't embrace that and just be proud of the fact that, like, I mean, those are cool characters on paper, but no one else could be Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
Yeah, he is so pigeonholed now, though. Like, every time there was that tremendous delay between Indy 3 and Indy 4, and every time he come up with a new movie, my first thought, and I'm sure you had this too, why aren't you're putting this out instead of doing Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Like, why are you wasting your time?
Yeah. I mean, these actors are like, and so many actors are like, well, I don't want to be pigeonholed as one character. If I was in Hollywood, like, let's say I was, Robert Downey Jr. and
it seems like an easy paycheck to just, go back to the well.
I also think it'd be cool, because I'd be like, I'm not just Robert Downey Jr. I'm freaking Tony Stark, dude. Like,
right.
That's
if you want to inhabit the role, then inhabit it.
Yeah.
They want to give you 6 movies of that character, then you play it for 6 movies.
Yeah. It's like Mark Hamill. I mean, he loves being Luke Skywalker and the Joker.
I love that meme that came out of Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley that were trying to hide themselves in the airport when they were going to film episode 8, and then Mark Hamill's just out there looking at all the cameras, pointing, arms waving and stuff.
All right.
Like, I'm friggin' Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker in the house.
Everybody else is walking with their faces covered with Michael Jackson masks on and stuff, and Mark's just running around. Hey!
Yep. I don't understand why he would do that. I mean, everyone knows that he's a serious actor. They know he's got a lot of different roles and he can do a lot of things. Like, so just have fun with it. I mean, that reaction that he got at Celebration, another moment of silence for my stupidity for not going to that panel. I hate myself. I hate my life. I'm such a piece of crap. But the reaction
I
that he got,
honestly, I can honestly say I was disappointed in you when I texted you and was like, "Are you there?" No, like,
I'm not kidding. It still hurts. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being like, show guy. It hurts.
I'm just thinking to myself, why'd you even go to Celebration?
The only reason I didn't say something at the time about how rotten I felt was because I knew you already felt terrible, and I didn't want to bring you down further.
You knew you couldn't feel worse than he did,
Right.
so there was no sense in bringing
I'm not even gotta be their guy.
Yeah.
But in that case, I was like, damn it.
My only hope, and my only chance in hell is if Lucas and Ford live into their 80s and we hit a 50th anniversary of Star Wars and they do it again. That's the only chance I have. There's no other. There's no other way. And unfortunately, maybe this is going to change, but it's not going to have John Williams. He's already in his 80s.
Right.
So, I mean, I missed something I'm never going to ever see again. It's not like I have another chance to see it.
Okay, let's try to save this thing before we wrap it up for the night.
Yeah.
Let's move forward. We're looking forward now. Okay, we've had our moment of silence. Let's bring it back up here. We've got Ron Howard on board to save this thing.
Yes.
Now, how do you guys feel about that? Because I tried to look around and see what's he going to bring to the table? And really, guys, I don't know. He's got a lot of great movies under his belt, but there's not really any one thing you can point to and be like, that's a Ron Howard film.
Right. He does have his own. He has his own take on things. He does get very in depth with his movies, like you said, with the Da Vinci Code, with all three of the Da Vinci Code movies, with Apollo 13 and stuff. He likes to put a lot of info in a short amount of time into your brain waves there. So
worked better in Apollo 13 than it did in the Da Vinci Code movies, I think. But
yeah,
I don't know.
But it's like AJ said, he's got his own little thing that makes it a Ron Howard movie, but I can't pinpoint what is that thing though that makes it the Ron Howard movies.
Well, AJ forwarded us that article that gave points of things his movies have in common, and I don't think we have to worry about the one that says he always has water in his movies.
Yeah, there were a couple weird ones in there. They were really reaching.
But the one that
everyone breathes air in his films.
Yeah,
it's the weirdest thing.
Everybody speaks words in his movies.
Have you noticed everything's got light?
Did you?
Yeah.
They did mention about having his family in there. I did not know that the chick from Jurassic World, the redhead, is his daughter. I was like, okay, well, she's a redhead. I guess I could see it. But that one dude, his name is Clint Howard. It's his brother. It's
the dude from The Waterboy or whatever.
Yeah. That really ugly guy is his brother. I'm like, what the heck?
I know. I just can't get past Opie and the Andy Griffith Show.
Yeah. Right. Well, the one thing that I think was a positive was they also mentioned that he always puts history into his films, and his films are historic, and he has a great way of, bringing historical elements into it, like showing what happened in the past and kind of like
they're going to go back in time and show Han's parents, and Han's father is going to be very Harrison Ford, like bitter old man.
Right.
You're just going to be like, now that character I like.
Yeah. Right. Grumpy old man.
See, actually, if they're having fun with this, I would have Harrison Ford in the film somewhere like this.
There's no
put makeup
way.
on him. Put makeup on him, put a stormtrooper helmet on him, something. Just, like they had freaking Daniel Craig in Force Awakens. I mean, you could throw him in anywhere, just disguise him enough, but that'd be hilarious to know that Harrison Ford is somewhere in that movie.
If he runs into Boba Fett, put Harrison Ford in the Boba Fett stuff. Just be like the ultimate, like, what the heck?
They show a younger Han Solo, and he's walking through a crowded area and like accidentally shoulder checks Greedo on the way by. Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. No, I think
and it's just Harrison Ford in a Greedo outfit,
right? Yeah, I loved the Dan Brown movies, Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and Inferno. Especially Angels and Demons. I love that one because that's actually my favorite book of all time. But and Apollo 13 is just one of my favorite movies ever. That is just an unbelievably great movie. And so, I mean, he's done stuff that actually you would look at and you would say, okay, well, there's a track record there. I mean, he won he won the Oscar for was A Beautiful Mind, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got an Oscar for Best Director, and I think having worked with George Lucas at an early age, he's got some Lucasfilm history, so he knows what he's up against, and he's seasoned enough to know what he's getting into.
I can pull from enough things I know that he's done that I can see working in this kind of format. Like did you know that he was the executive producer on Arrested Development, for example?
I did not know that, and I've never seen a single episode of that. Every time I hear Arrested Development, I think of the Tennessee song.
But that's one of those early aughts Fox sitcoms that was canceled before its time, much like Family Guy.
Okay.
And it's got a new life on Netflix now, and it's again, people are discovering it now, going, why don't we have more of this? But it's hilarious, and it's the humor in there is very smart and subtle as hell at times, and there's a lot of Easter eggs in there.
Yeah,
a lot of continuity things, like something from season 1 will show up in the background of season 4, kind of a thing, which is perfect for this kind of movie. I think that is absolutely the right touch. The other thing that excites me is from that article that I sent over, one of the signatures they talked about was that he likes to have the relationship between man and machine.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh,
Millennium Falcon,
right?
Yep.
Like,
Thank
how
you for
perfect
mentioning
is
that. I forgot that. Yep.
So if you want your kind of movie where Han Solo is, basically his girlfriend is the ship, here it is right here. I feel like, especially, I mean, the Millennium Falcon itself is a character already, and they've gone on record as saying that before this movie was even in production. Having a guy that likes to do that to other machines that aren't characters already, can you imagine what he's going to have in this film?
Yep.
Like, I hope he's not coming in too late to get enough of his stamp on it, because I feel like he's got a lot of stuff that would like fit perfectly for this movie.
Yeah. I think it's a good sign that, they had 3 weeks of filming left, but now they're filming through September. So he's going to film a lot of new stuff. So he's going to be able to do something with what was already there and get, take it in a different direction and give it his own kind of, feel. I mean, again, he's got a reputation as a successful director. And so I think it could be good. And all these changes, I mean, from what I'm hearing, I mean, to put a bow on this, as nervous as I am about all of this, again, using the word again, turmoil that's been going on with this, I think I'm happy that they made this change and then gave extra time for filming, because it shows that they understand that you cannot F up a Han Solo movie. You just can't. If you screw up a Han Solo movie, that is a huge black mark against them.
Yeah.
The
scrutiny on any Star Wars film is that way. So I think, again, like we were all pooping ourselves a little bit with all the stuff coming out about Rogue One. Look how that one turned out.
Yeah.
So maybe this is just par for the course for a Star Wars movie now. There's so much scrutiny that every little detail is going to seem catastrophic.
Yeah.
Until we're sitting our butts in the theaters, and of course then we're like, it's more Star Wars. It's more Star Wars.
You know me, as soon as the Falcon comes on screen, when he's like, when they're going to be playing, you're going to see Han Solo and Lando playing Sabacc, and you're just going to hear me in the corner of the theater going, here it comes, 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 here it comes.
He's just over there cackling like a little kid.
Oh, dude.
Say idiots are right. Say idiots are right.
Oh, it's going to happen. That's going to be the moment in the trailer. Like when they had the, Chewie, we're home in episode 7, they're going to wait to show the Millennium Falcon in that Han Solo trailer. It's going to be like the Vader reveal in the Rogue One trailer.
Yeah.
How much you want? That's what it's going to be. The Falcon. You can't just go, here's the Han Solo movie. Check out the Millennium Falcon. No, they're going to show, obviously they got to show Han. They'll probably show a little bit of Lando. You're like, oh, there it is. And then not show the Falcon. Everyone's going to go, oh, but I want to see the Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to show it. And then, it's going to be you and I in the theater again with, our eyes watering because of how excited we are and cool it is, like in 3D before another movie going, dude, it's the Millennium Falcon in 3D. It's in the movie. Oh my God. Like we did with the episode 7 trailer.
I could totally see that trailer ending with a cliffhanger bit of dialogue like Han to Lando, put up your ship.
Yeah.
May 2018.
Or better yet, what are you betting? And then it shows like the cockpit of the Falcon. Like, that's yeah. Don't even say put up your ship. Just have that one moment of like, what do you got? And then it shows the Falcon for like a second. You're like, yeah, it's the Falcon. It's the damn Millennium Falcon. Like that's another thing you'll hear from my chair at the movie theater. That'll be me. So
that's going to be your new shorthand online, GDMF.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not going to mean what people think it means.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. I should use that. Change my Twitter handle. But Dog Pound Jedi is just too me. Cleveland Browns.
GDMF John doesn't have the nice ring to it, huh?
No, I got to stick with Dog Pound Jedi. That was a very good selection on my part. It encapsulates me very much so. But why don't we leave it there? We'll wrap the show up for tonight. That was a very good conversation. We weren't sure we were going to get through more than like 15 minutes on that, and we actually got through a whole show, so that's good, considering we didn't have any backup topics if it failed.
Hashtag filibuster.
Right?
Well, I think
our show is basically set up every other week the same way the original directors of the Han Solo movie operate.
Exactly.
We're improvisational.
We're a 3-man team that equals Chris Miller and Phil Lord, basically.
Right.
So,
well, I think the original description I put up on iTunes for us was a free-form conversation. So there we go.
Yep. No, we stayed on track. Apparently, there's a lot that we had to say about the Han Solo movie. Which
it's still up there on the wall. Stay on target.
Stay on target. So, but yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the last episode with our commentary. We'll be doing more of those in the future.
Probably as bonus episodes, though, right? I mean,
it was a little long.
Can't wait till something happens that forces us to have to do one of the Ewok movies.
Ugh.
I can't wait.
That's what
to do
people.
one of those.
I can tell you what.
My will. That's what's going to happen to make us do that.
No, I think an uptick in sales of the movie, so people know what the hell we're talking about.
What I think we need is one of those like radio prize wheel things. We just put all the movies we haven't done on there.
Yes. Okay, so you're agreeing to that on air. This is going out as official. We're going to put everything on the board, and if it lands on Ewok movie,
every time we watch a good movie, we replace that with Ewok movie the next time. So there's just more spots on the stupid wheel.
Well, you don't even have to replace it. Just, we know we can't land on that spot again. But dude, this is great. This is great. So we're just this is what we'll do. We'll just have lotto commentary. We won't even know what we're doing commentary of until we start recording.
The show starts.
We're going to spin the wheel on the air of the recording. I like this idea.
The center of the wheel is just John's angry face.
Look, we're talking Han Solo movie Sabak, so obviously we're fans of gambling. So, we're going to put our commentary up on the line here.
Yeah, but instead of winning the Millennium Falcon, we might win like a Jawa
sandwich,
like a Jawa sandcrawler instead. Like, who wants that hunk of shit?
This one's got a hunk of junk.
We land on the Ewok movie, and then we got to start talking. And then it's just me and AJ because this one's got a bad motivator.
Actually, we're gonna land on an Ewok movie. He'll have a bad motivator, and then he'll make 0.5 past light speed getting out of here.
If we do that, then I reserve the right to bring alcohol. Because if I have to sit through the damn Ewok movie, I reserve the right to get drunk.
I will text my wife, and I will make sure she sticks a chair under the doorknob at the door so he has no escape. He's forced to watch this thing.
You guys will be like, I can't believe they did this. Like, look at that and the special effects. And I'm over here going, this is the crappiest freaking thing. Who the hell?
He's just sitting in the chair making Millennium Falcon noises while he's imagining he's somewhere else.
Someone in this galaxy on Solo is flying around the Falcon blowing stuff up.
Hey, I got a
stupid Ewok movie.
I got a primer for you on the effects, though, and we'll leave it this so I can link to it in the show notes anyway. Do you know that there's a 33-minute cut of Empire Strikes Back? It's an official release. This is an
official
8 millimeter. They used to, in the days before home video, they used to put out 8 millimeter supercuts of the movies. Like, that was the only way to get it for home consumption, was if you had a reel-to-reel and you could buy, because the reels were too big, they condensed it down. And there's a version out on YouTube. I heard of it on Blast Point's podcast, so shout out to them. We'll put a link to their episode on it. And it's a 33-minute cut of the film. It's got a couple alternate takes, which is interesting. And it cuts out, obviously, a lot of material, but major plot points.
Wow.
But it's a lot of fun. But one of the things about it, though, is it's the original 1980 footage, so the effects that have been cleaned up so much, you have no idea how much they've been cleaned up. The Ewok movie effects are terrible. They're not as bad compared to the movies that they were matching up to, though. It's pretty astounding. So we'll link to that in the show notes and get that going. But I'm excited now for our Lotto commentary whenever we do that.
Oh, I guess I'm in for it, but I reserve the right to bring booze. To get me through watching one of those horrid pieces of crap that no one knows.
Well, yeah.
That's my only complaint about doing that.
I'm good with
if people don't know if people can't see what we're ripping on, I'm like, well,
they can see it for free on YouTube. Both of them are available in their entirety. When we do the real films, they actually have to go purchase a copy somewhere.
I guess so. People will be following along on YouTube, and then they buffer, and they're behind, like, damn it. So, well, anyways, guys, thanks again for tuning in to another episode of the Nerfherder Council. We definitely appreciate you all downloading the show and streaming us. You can find us at nerfherdercouncil.com. We are available on Spreaker, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all those good places. The Uncontrolled Noise Network. We want to thank them for their support of the show. You can call and leave us a voicemail. Give your feedback on the show. It's 440-987-WARS, which is 9277. You can hit us up at feedback@nerfherdercouncil.com. We have our Facebook page, and we're somewhat active on our Twitter page. I need to do a better job of that. At NHC Podcast. So until next time, I am your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He's AJ.
At Drake Adams, 579.
He's Steve.
At JSteve1005.
And we will catch you next time.
This bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my nerf herder.
You my nerf herder.
It's apparently exclusives. Ooh, that
$2,500?
What, the watch is $2,500?
yeah, that watch is cool. It ain't $2,500 cool. Now we're socks. All right, now we're into our price range.
Well, you know who's going to buy that watch? The same who bought that R2 for $2.76 million.
Who? Well, now, wait a minute. If we were millionaires and had that money, we would have done that.
We were just debating that. We're like, I'd like to think if I ever got that rich to be able to afford it, that's what I would spend my money on. But then
I would.
After the fact, I'd be like, you entitled bastard. Like, you could have started a college fund with that or built a school.
F*** other people. I've got a movie used R2 from the original trilogy. That was from the original trilogy, right?
Actually, it's from all 5 that they used in on-set R2.
Well, what the f*** then? Wait, which one didn't they?
It's 4, 5. Well, okay, they used on-set R2 in all of them, but they only used parts from 4, 5, 6, 1, and 2 for this one. There are no Revenge of the Sith parts or Force Awakens parts in this R2.
No.
Boo.
Like I told AJ, it would be awesome if he brought it here and it sat down there. We would drool over it for about a week or two. And then after that, we would be like, it's still cool, but you probably could have spent $3 million a little better.
I'm going to say the most bullshit pompous thing that I think I'll ever say. For $2.76 million, I want that thing to be like a vintage automobile where the VIN's got a match. I don't want parts assembled into an R2. I want the R2 from one of the episodes. I don't want a mishmash.
No. Having that
you
R2
want it to smell like fart inside there, like you want it like legit.
Kenny Baker.
Yeah. Well, that's like in a classic car example. You don't take parts of a 1970 Chevy Nova.
We're totally blowing.
You get way more money for a Chevy Nova from 1970.
Yeah, but it's also like if you're like a rock star and you banged a bunch of like hot actresses or porn stars.
Yeah, you don't take the off of one and the legs off another.
No, it's the fact that you can watch a movie and she comes on screen and you're like, done that.
Both
and then
valid.
when you watch Star Wars, you'd be like, got that.
Both valid points. Both valid points. Because honestly, talk about the classic car thing, the value goes in the toilet when it's all pieced together. But if you got a numbers match car that the block number matches the transmission number matches the VIN number, that's the thing that gets you 7 figures on an auction block as opposed to somebody that pieced one together and it's worth $25,000.
No, bourbon, tequila, and coffee.
And that's what this is. I mean, this is like a Jackson Barrett kind of piece, except it's a Frankenstein. So
I really hope that my burps continue to make my my pop filter smell like garlic. I had one bite of fresh kielbasa because I had to go to State Meats to get kielbasa for the party on Saturday, and they had one sample left. And I've been burping and tasting it the whole night. I'm like, I love this stuff. There's nothing better than garlic burps. There really isn't.
Wait, is Jenna's birthday party this Saturday?
No, it's
'Cause I haven't even looked at the date on that yet.
Is it I think it's the 15th.
Okay, so this party is nothing that has to do with me.
What do you mean?
Whatever's going on Saturday. You said something about a party on Saturday?
Oh, no, we're hanging out at Tim's place down at Indian Lake, but we're going out on the boat. I'm making burgers and we got fresh kielbasa. There's a whole bunch of people. If you had nothing going on, I'd be like, dude, jump in the car.
Nah.
But
busy.
What are you doing?
Well,
there's that damn buzzing again.
Yeah, you just hit a button and now it's buzzing again.
Yeah.
I just saw you hit a button and now I got buzzing.
Yeah, is that laptop.
What is the last key you pressed? Don't press it again.
The mouse.
We both saw it, dude.
Yeah, it was also been clicking on it the whole time. Too.
Yeah, he was doing it before, and he just had to like toggle the power strip a load of times to get rid of it.
Oh, that's right. Toggle the power strip, dude.
All right, it's gonna be loud.
Holy, that really does. That super spikes the recording. There's just like one peak way off the register.
Were you recording just now?
Yeah, it's all being recorded.
So we got my little foray into the benefits of garlic burps.
Yeah.
There we go. See, that's good bonus stuff for at the end of the show.
Right. We haven't had an outtake in a long time, actually. So this is good.
I think I have a teeny little bit of a buzz.
I love how every time you're late, it's because you're right down the street.
Well, I was trying to they were really packed. I was trying to get my tab and it took forever. Otherwise, I would have been here.
What the hell's going on? Indians game was at noon.
Dude, they have some trivia thing. Did you see my Facebook post?
No, I didn't see it.
There was two of the greatest.
Besides, you jerk, if you had told me you were going up there, I would have joined you.
I didn't know. I literally got there at like 10 to 8. So.
Oh, smart.
Well, what? I only wanted like a round. And I had 2.
I thought you always. Oh, is it only Wednesdays they have like a burger and a beer special?
Yeah, they have a special like every night of the week, but yeah, the burger special is till 8 on Wednesday.
Oh, okay. I thought you were there for the burger special.
No, I already had dinner.
Okay, that's why I was like, you got there at 10 to 8 and you were expecting to get a burger and a beer and get out over to here by 8.
No, I just had a Miller Lite and a Rumpelman's.
Speaking of burgers, we got to go to Melt. They got some burger now that's a double burger, but the bun is a deep fried grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
So deep fried grilled cheese sandwich, burger, bacon, burger, deep fried grilled cheese sandwich.
Wow.
You're looking at me like I'm going to tackle this thing. No way.
You're the one that can do it.
They need to wheel out.
I don't
They need to wheel out a defibrillator. You order
right,
dude. I never finish a whole Melt sandwich. It's just too damn rich. I don't like the flavor that much.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that place. I'm like one of the 3 people in Cleveland that isn't.
Yeah, you put another Terminator in front of me, then that thing's going down. But
yeah, it's honestly tolerable at best. Like I'll eat there once a year, maybe. You get like a taste more so. I get a taste more so for the fries because I love fresh cut fries.
See, you're the opposite of Steph and I. We hate fresh cut fries.
Really?
Give me some. Like give me steak fries at like Red Robin. Oh yeah, love it. By the way, I didn't get to tell you that team name. It's the greatest one ever. This was the team name. It was Jesus Loves You. This is the whole thing. Jesus Loves You. JK, you're a twat waffle. And then there was another one. There's no place. There's another one. There's no place like your mouth. And then one team just named themselves the Jizzers.
I know you don't want to change your Star Wars name, but you guys should be the Jizz Whalers.
The Jizz Whalers would be great.
Right.
I will change our team name as soon as we lose. And as long as we're on an undefeated streak, I'm not changing anything.
Yeah, that's very fair.
All right, so we ready? How's our levels? Are we good?
Yeah, we're looking good.
Okay.
No.
So, do you guys have anything else you want to hit on except for the Han Solo movie?
Not really. We're good.
Since one of you guys has the laptop, do you want to pull up that article? It was on StarWarsNewsNet.com. The one that kind of runs down why Chris Miller and Phil Lord were let go.
Oh, it was all over the place. It's on Variety and Vanity Fair and all that too.
About the whole they were in the they were in the Millennium Falcon in the morning and they didn't start filming till 1, that kind of thing.
You wouldn't either.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't film at all. I would just sit there with the bottle of Rumpelmans and get hammered in the Millennium Falcon. And they'd be like, what are you doing? Like, get the out of here. I'm fucking Han Solo, motherfucker. No, Alden Ehrenreich is off. I'm in the damn Falcon. You.
Crew gets there for their first call. They're like, Seats are sticky again.
Here, take a pull off of this.
What's he doing in there?
That'd be awesome.
Hey, the director's stuck to the chair again.
I would just take a week.
Get the stick.
Somebody get the stick. I would just take a week before filming started to get there early and just hang out and party in the Millennium Falcon. Just walk around for a week just screaming, I'm in the Millennium Falcon, motherfucker.
I've actually had this thought. Like, I want to set up a PlayStation or something with Battlefront, like in the lounge of the Millennium Falcon. I just want to sit behind the hollow chess table with like a bag of Cheetos or something on the chessboard and just like rocking out.
Is it that one?
Yeah, that's the exact one.
All right.
See, we need to talk about this at the beginning.
We already are. Just keep going.
Well, let's start the show then. Right,
it's recording. Go.
Well, yeah, but we need an intro and stuff.
We need 5 seconds.
Yes.
We were just joking about how other podcasts just stitch it together anyway. So we'll just do one of those handy little 10-second music splices like every other show, and we'll have it good to go.
No, I know where we can start.
We're
I'll
just
start there.
filled with Millennium Falcon noises like when we do our interviews.
All right. I will start this off, and we'll go back on the topic, and I'll do an official show intro to make it easier for you guys on editing.
That smells stinker-whiff.
This is the John Drake Han Solo Millennium Falcon episode. Take 1.
That should just be the intro to the whole show. Welcome to
the John Drake Han Solo happy hour.
That's what we should do. I'll go on this episode of the Nerfherder Council, and then just put that in. This is the John Drake. That'd be awesome. All right. Do you need the 5 seconds real fast, and then we'll go?
I'm calling up that article real fast here.
Okay. Steve's got it too. So
okay.
Yeah, it's all right if he has it. He can read better.
Well, which one do you got? Which one do you want to read from?
The graphic on screen is the Han Solo. Oh no, you're on a different site, aren't you?
I'm on Variety.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay, he's on Star Wars Newsnet.
I'm sure it all covers the same bullshit.
Yeah,
so
just
whatever
keep it there.
You gotta work.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready? Let's do the. Actually, let me take a quick piss. Since I did have 2 beers, I know that's going to hit me right at the worst time possible. Better to be pretty.
Yeah, I might as well also. Then what the hell?
Yes, please do.
No.
You're not the only one. When you pissed in the middle of the show the last time, or whatever it was, my band has started getting it in their mind, my guitar player, drummer, that they can just piss whenever they want. So we'll be in the middle of a show, and I'll hear, I gotta piss. They put on In the Air tonight, and I'm like, so then I'm soloing, so they can just go piss. I'm like, why don't you plan this shit?
You know, something I've wondered about this cast photo from the Han Solo movie anyway. I'm assuming the dude in the middle is playing Han Solo.
Yeah.
So dude in the denim shirt, that's supposed to be our new Han Solo?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say I really think we can get like a whole show out of this stuff.
I mean, good luck finding a lookalike for Harrison Ford in his early 30s or earlier 30s that can also act, but
they already did. His name is Chris Pratt. Have you ever seen the Photoshop when they were talking about another Indiana Jones movie?
The problem is Chris Pratt is in Marvel shape now.
Who gives a
Well, you know, I guess.
Well, I guess, yeah, he's too muscular. But
back in his 20s, Han Solo was working on his peaks, I guess.
Well, dude, I'm telling you, they photoshopped like did an actual professional Photoshop of Chris Pratt's face and head in the Indiana Jones fedora on an Indiana Jones picture. Dude, you look at that and you're like, what the f***? He's like a perfect Indiana Jones.
Chris Pratt, Indiana Jones.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks amazing.
Yeah, you can't really argue with that.
Dude, it's Indiana Jones.
Related search, Bradley Cooper, Indiana Jones.
No.
Yeah, I don't really see that one too much.
All right, go pee and then we'll
right.
start the show.
I just totally put a new radio filter on my sound effects. I put a fader on it. So, like, instead of just trying to turn it off, I can hit the little fade thing and just let it kill itself.
A Darth Vader?
I love it. By the way, AJ, if you're bored tomorrow night, I'm at Beerhead. But not with Jim.
I'm watching Aiden.
Okay.
I got the kid.
I'm not with Jim, obviously.
Party or concert, I forget which, but she's doing shit with her girlfriend.
Ah.
So she'll finally have a social life of her own, which will relieve the pressure on me.
No, it won't. Aunt Patty called you pussy whipped last night, by the way. It's one of the funnier things I've ever heard in my life.